Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Thriving Minds podcast with your host, Walter Parada, where we strive to provide you with empowering talks so you can live to thrive. I hope you find yourself in the right frame of mind, focusing on all the things within your control. All right, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about mental strength and conditioning, and this stuff really does work. So this past Labor Day weekend, I won my second rodeo in bull riding. And I've only been doing this since about 2015. And I'll do this sporadically. It's more of a hobby, a way to really escape and relieve some pressure, and really to better my overall self. At first, I thought it was, kind of an adrenaline thing. But like anything else, whether you play sports or you ride a motorcycle or you go rock climbing, it's really just a way to unleash that inner beast, that better version of you. So I only do a handful of rodeos per year. And as of late, I've come to understand how to execute a lot better because I found what works for me. And it's coming from mental strength and conditioning. I'm just not even joking around how vital this is in the success I've been experiencing lately. But before this, I would heavily rely on what other people would tell me, because it obviously worked for them. I'd get feedback from certain bull riders or stock contractors that, they would raise bucking bulls for this. And I would have some success, not very much. And they would tell me, do this or do that. And I got the reasoning behind it. But what they were saying was just not registering. It was lots of things trying to process. Certain things I did incorporate that did work, but I had a hard time consistently doing well. So when I first started in 2015 to all the way to 2019, I got on 83 bulls. And it's not a lot, but I actually kept track of how many I'd get on and how many I'd actually make a qualified ride. Because in bull riding, a qualified ride is one where you make 8 seconds. So my riding percentage, the amount of rides that I'd make 8 seconds, was only 10%. And then I took a break from it. I think I wanted to quit it. I was kind of frustrated. Things, I was going through a transition period career-wise and so many different things. But 2019, I left it. I said, I'll just focus on other things. Then I slowly got back into it. Went to a rodeo back in 2022, and I was like, dang, I kind of missed this, I missed the whole process, and I just started to get back into it. So from 2023 to 2024, my overall riding percentage, of making that 8-second qualified ride rose to 75%. So I went from 10 to 75%. Granted, yes, I've only been on 8 bulls during that time, but this was a significant improvement from how I used to ride, and it all came from my improved mental state now. So back in 2022, that's when I really started to focus on mental strength and conditioning. And that's why we have these podcasts, to talk about empowering information that we can use to improve our lives, incorporating small things, adding them as part of our toolkit. Much of my mindset going into each time I got on a bull was try my guts out, try as hard as I could, and just leave it all out there. But I'd constantly be focused on winning and winning. But what I came to the realization was that put a lot of pressure on me. And this would obviously affect my mental state and my physical state too, because now I'm in a rigid position. And in bull riding, you don't outpower these animals. They can weigh anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 pounds. So a small man that's weighing anywhere from 130 to 170 pounds is not going to outmuscle an animal like this. Or even someone that weighs 250 or 300. There's no way. So it's all about countering a bull's movement. And these bulls, man, they're magnificent creatures, things of beauty, really fast and quick and powerful and smart. So early on, I got the concept of, when I was learning how to ride, I had a buddy show me what exactly to do and, just the overall technique to it. So the concept is when a bull bucks forward, you counter that by being over the bull's front end. So you're reaching forward as he's lunging forward. And that's what kind of takes away the power from them. And then right after that, a bull wants to kick, and then you counter that by shoving your hips forward. You're shooting them forward to back to where your rope is. And that gets you back in place, and you just continue that movement going forward. And obviously, a bull is going to do different things at different times. He could spin to the right, spin to the left, lunge forward. But that's the overall concept. When a rider can consistently do that well, they have a higher chance of staying on. And it's moving with the bull. You're always got to be moving, nimble, quick, and alert. For most of us, 8 seconds can be really short. But man, it can feel a whole lot different, a whole lot longer when you're on these powerful animals that can just move so quickly and kind of throw you like a rag doll. So before, how I would prepare to ride was focus a lot on the physical side, where I would practice my movement, countering the bull, what he does. When he goes forward, I move forward with him. When he kicks, I shoot my hips forward. And I'd work on my inner thighs and strengthening my core. And it's not so much having a lot of arm strength, but enough to be able to hold on tight. But when I really started to incorporate the mental strength and conditioning side, the first thing that I will start with is my journal. So I got my digital journal on the thrivingminds.live website, and I'll write out first an empowering reinforcement message to myself. So what I say is, I am resilient, I am resourceful, and I'm full of grit and energy. Then from there, I'll write down whatever's on my mind. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll write it out and I'll be like, damn, I'm not getting enough work done. I'm not making the progress that I want. And this helps to alleviate some of that stress that I'm feeling. Or it could be just about how my day went. Like, man, I had a great day today. I got a lot of work done. Or I had a good time just relaxing at home to unwind and decompress. I would even write down certain exercises that I do. And this got me to evaluate what I was doing and what I needed to do to get better. And in that, I found that I needed to incorporate the aerobic ball, something where it forces me to squeeze my inner thighs, work on my balance, something to mimic the movement while sitting, doing the movements going forward and back. This really helped to refine my technique to where it just became second nature. And then from there, I'd stand up on the ball, improving my balance, and do the same concept moving forward and back. As I was doing this, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I said, you know what? Let me give this a try and see what comes from it. From there, I took it a step further, and I'd actually slowed down the whole movement, where I would really just walk through the whole technique. And this helped really slow down my thinking, what I was seeing. And it got me comfortable enough to understand what the process entailed. What a bull does when he bucks, when he's moving forward, when he's kicking, when he's spinning to the right, when he's spinning to the left. And then I would start doing deep breathing exercises, where I would do the double inhale breathing technique, which is taking one deep inhale, followed by another fast inhale, holding that for a little while, followed by a long sighing exhale. At first, when I started to do this, I'd only do a few of them. And I noticed that I would feel relaxed with a clear focus. So I decided to, I'm going to up it up to 12. And I would close my eyes and, get into it. And then from there, I'd go into meditation or visualization for 5 minutes. I would visualize whatever was on my mind. But one of the things that I do, especially leading up to the rodeos, was actually visualizing the whole process of getting my gear ready, putting it on, getting in the chute, getting on the back of the bull, and actually walking through the whole process. And as I would do this, I could feel that nervous energy, even that scared energy of like, damn, Walter, you're about to get on this 1,000+ pound animal that obviously can cause significant pain. But each time I do it, So I do it for the first week or so, would be really invoking those emotions, those nerves coming out. I can feel me breathing a lot harder. My palms would be sweaty, heart is racing. But the more I did it, the more and more I got acclimated. And another thing I do too is I'd go for a walk too. And as I'm moving, I would feel that same nervousness. But as I'm walking, that also calmed me down. So I remember that first year, that 2023 year that I'd really implement this, I'd always feel that nervousness. My palms would get sweaty. My heart is racing. But then this past year, here in 2024, I notice when I do the visualization of actually getting my gear set up, getting in the chute, putting my knees on the bull's back, getting set up, I'd become a lot less nervous, a lot less scared. And yeah, I'd still get nervous, but I noticed that my palms weren't sweaty, my heart wasn't racing as much, and it was more of an enjoyable experience that I was looking forward to. And in doing all this, it really helped me to get these mental reps where it slowed things down and was not as overwhelming as the real thing. So it allowed me to get acclimated to what I was about to experience. Prior to this, of actually implementing visualization, mental strength and conditioning, I knew the benefits of it, but it wasn't a primary focus. And once I started to incorporate it, it really gave me confidence and improved my overall composure, I think. So before, I thought the more that I actually get on a bull, the better I get. But it wasn't coming to fruition. Things were still happening so fast. I wasn't sure what I was seeing, what I needed to do. But with these techniques of deep breathing, visualization, writing down what's ever on my mind to help me get to a relaxed state, it helped me get accustomed to what I was about to do. And it's really interesting. You can apply this to whatever it is. So if you're nervous about giving a presentation, you can actually practice these type of exercises where you're writing down what you're feeling, the nervousness, what you fear, meditating, doing these deep breathing exercises, visualizing yourself actually giving the presentation, and it helps you just get a little bit calmer and calmer. I know it just might seem like a bunch of nonsense, but I'm just straight up telling you the truth, my own experiences, because this stuff really works. So I remember, the first time I got back on a bull back in 2023, it was in May. I was doing all these, like I said, all these exercises, the mental strength and conditioning, and I wasn't sure it was going to work. But I did have enough confidence that I was going to have fun. I wasn't really worried about the end result. And I remember, the bull wasn't as good. It was just one of those range bulls, not meant for bucking. These are just meant more for breeding, producing meat. And I remember I got on him, made 8 seconds, and I felt it a bit not as hard as what I remembered or what I anticipated. And then it gave me confidence. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can continue this. Maybe I can do the next rodeo. And I remember the next rodeo was a lot higher quality bulls. And I wasn't sure. So I'd continue this. And then before you know it, damn, I got 8 seconds on some of these stronger, faster bulls. And I said, okay. What do they say? Once is an accident, 2 is a trend. And I really didn't think nothing of it. I had a good time. I felt like it was worth doing. And the more that I would really focus on the mental piece of it, I would consistently be telling myself, focus on the process, focus on the process. So each and every day, the things that are right in front of you, you got to get done, do it to the highest of your ability, execute it well. And what was so interesting about that is it helped to take away my focus on being outcome oriented. I wasn't so much dependent on if I won, I felt validated. If I lost, I wasted my time. It was no longer about that. It was merely about the process. I was enjoying it because in doing so, it made me satisfied. This past Labor Day weekend rodeo, I get myself ready. So I go back into the buck and shoot and I find out which bull I got. So I have an idea of, okay, I know who I got and where I need to line my rope up, because I was looking at his shoulder where I need to actually place it, because they have a natural crease where the bull rope actually holds there pretty well. So I set up my rope, I pull it out my bag, get my equipment ready, I stretch. And once I get that done, it really puts me in a good spot where I can focus on getting into a relaxed, aware state. So while I'm back there, I sat down, closed my eyes. I did the double inhale breathing technique 12 times. And that calmed me down. Because prior to that, I was nervous, I was scared. And still throughout the whole process, but this just helped me get me to a good even state. From there, I closed my eyes and I visualized the whole process of me putting my rope around the bull, getting in the buck and shoot where I'm putting my hand on each side of the shoe, slowly putting my knees on his back to let him know, hey buddy, I'm coming. Slowly dropping my legs down, making sure the bull is comfortable, want to keep him, quiet in the shoe. And then from there, setting up my rope, or I heat up the tail so I can make it sticky. And then making the handle hot, putting my hand in the handle position, and, making sure I align it with the contour of his shoulders. And then from there, it's my helper pulling my rope. And then I grab the end of the tail, wrap it around my hand, and I slide up gently to him, where I nod my head to signal that I'm ready. And then I go through the whole process, the bull actually bucking, when he launches forward, kicking, and me countering the whole thing. And that really primed me mentally to be ready to go at this. So as we're getting closer and closer to bucking the bulls, it's becoming a lot more real. But I'm still, I'm ready to go. Let's get at it. So once it's time to buck the bulls, there's 4 other riders that went ahead of me. And I casually watched. So the rider right before I rode, he gets stomped on his back. The bull steps on his back and his leg, and he has a hard time coming up, barely being able to climb on top of the chute. And he's moving, kind of having a hard time breathing. And that got me obviously nervous because the thoughts were going through my mind of, obviously, this is very dangerous. Same thing could happen to you, Walter. But I quickly had to compartmentalize because I was up next. And I remind myself, all right, Walter, it's time to go. And I'm visualizing the whole process of going over it over again, right? What I actually need to get done. And this really helped me to reset and refocus to what I need to do. And even before this, I'm not so much of a rah-rah guy. But I think before I kind of would need a little bit more getting up for this. But now I know that I need to be in that composed state, that even keel state to really give my best, perform my best, right? And then before you know it, they tell me, all right, Walter, you're up whenever you're ready. So I climb in the chute, I put my hand on each side of it, slowly drop down my knees, let them know, hey buddy, I'm coming, right? Slowly and quietly drop down my legs to make him comfortable. But this bull, he's a bit feisty. And as I drop down my legs, he's already bucking in the shoe. He pins my knee up against the steel. But because I kind of been through this before, I was already prepared for it. And it's mainly about staying calm and being quick in there. And that's exactly what I told myself. All right, Walter, be quick in the chute because this is the most dangerous spot. So when a bull is like this, the best thing to do is just be quiet and calm. And that helped him sit still. He was a willing participant and, it went well in there. So from there, then I got my rope position. I heated the tail of my rope to make it sticky. And this time I didn't even heat up the handle because I was like, Walter, you got to be quick in here. So I set up my rope, position it slightly to the left because I'm a right-handed rider. I want it to the left so it naturally pulls me a little bit in that direction because I'm already kind of leaning to the right. So I need something to counter that. So then I let my helper know, okay, I'm ready to take my wrap, grab the tail, wrap it around my hand, slowly slide up to my rope, and I'm just about ready to nod. And before that, the stock contractor, man, I just really love the bulls that he supplies. He has incredible genetics. He tells me, hold on, Walter, we're still setting up. He was setting up the flank rope, which is the rope that's positioned around his back legs. And they make it snug enough to where it makes the bull want to kick that off. It's not tight. It's just snug enough to get the bull to have that kicking motion. And when he told me that I needed to wait, I noticed that my left arm, my free arm, was a little bit low on the chute panels. And I said, Walter, put it on the highest position because that's going to set me up to really ride well. So the free arm, my left arm, that's my kind of guide to get me in and stay in balance. And that made me even more calmer. So right after that, then the stock contractor's finished with the flank rope and he tells me, all right, Walter, whenever you're ready. And I just remember nodding my head and the bull just blows out of there. He lunges forward, has his big kick, and I'm moving with him. And all this has happened really fast. And I'm like, damn, I'm still on. Well, keep hustling, keep moving. And as the bull continues to buck, he's just getting stronger and faster. And I'm starting to get out of position. I'm leaning back and I hear a lot of people back in the chute telling me, hustle, move forward, get to the front. And I'm trying my guts out. And then towards the end, I felt like I got lazy. You know, I was just on the end of my arm. And then I'm over to the side and bam, I hit the ground. The bull stomps on my leg and I get the hell out of there as quickly as I could. I walked away, you know, kind of disappointed, thinking like, man, I could have done better. I get back to the chute and just that laziness really got to me. I felt like I said, I could have done better. But then I hear somebody tell me, congratulations, man, you made 8. I was the only one that made it. And yeah, I was proud of myself, but I was even more proud of the whole process. I was just so happy how I executed. And the end result was really just a culmination of all the work that was put in. It's merely a byproduct of how effectively one prepares. It wasn't my best, so I still had a bit of that lingering feeling that, well, there's always room for improvement, and that kept me grounded. But I was happy that I did the little things right, you know, just being calm back there, visualizing the whole ride, doing my deep breathing exercises, you know, just the whole thing. I was just so happy with how I was able to conduct myself. And it did feel good to win, but as of late, with each time that I got an 8-second ride, the high, you know, that rush became less and less intense, where it was a lot more manageable. I wasn't so dependent on the outcome. I would be more appreciative of all the work that was done that led to that. And I would remind myself, this was only made possible because of executing the process well. You know, and then everybody back in the buck and chute would be congratulating me. It felt good. And then my thinking quickly pivoted to, all right, I'm going to get all my stuff and I'm ready to go eat pizza. Because that was the whole plan right after the rodeo. But as I'm putting everything away, you know, the rodeo announcer tells me, come to the arena, pick up your prize. And people tell me, you got to go pick it up. So I go out there and I'm just very elated. I'm just thinking, all right, I want to go get pizza. The arena director, you know, he congratulates me. We shake hands and he gives me this really awesome Yeti cooler. And on the top, it says Parker Ranch Rodeo Bull Riding Champion. And obviously I was elated. I was like, damn, man, this is such a cool prize. And he tells me, 2 years in a row you won this. And then I realized, damn, Walter, you found a program that works for you. You know, you found that mental strength and conditioning regime that really brings out your best. And then I started thinking, this isn't a fluke. You know, the first time might have been an accident. The second time might have been something suspicious. But doing it a third time, I was like, hold on now. This is something for real. I found something that works for me. And you can find something that works for you. And just another point of emphasis. In 2023 and 2024, I did not get on any practice bulls. These are just, bulls that you can kind of get on to find the rhythm. They might not be as hard as some of these rodeo bulls, but I just remember, I haven't been on a bull for so many months, yet when it's time to perform, I'm able to do so. And it just reinforced how important these mental reps are, because while it might seem like physically you're not doing it, you're already outlining that muscle memory that needs to be done. So when the time comes, it's just merely go out there and act. Go out there and perform. And this can work in so many areas of your life. You can visualize practicing whatever it might be. Running your household, talking to people, making a sales pitch, a job interview. You can even envision yourself handling stressful situations, because all this is already just going to get you a little bit more comfortable, or at least exposed to what you might come across. Just understand that what worked for me may not work for you. It may, but it couldn't. So just take certain things that I did and see how it works. Experiment with different things. You might find that maybe visualization is not as effective, but meditation is. Or you might find out that all you have to do is a certain breathing exercise. The double inhale breathing exercise is just one form that worked for me. You could try something else, and there's so many different ones to do. So just find what works for you. And mental strength and conditioning is exactly what it implies. It's strengthening your mindset through reframing your thoughts, because those thoughts become words that turn into actions, and those actions lead to habits that ultimately form your life. So it all starts from what you're thinking. And obviously, negative thoughts are going to occur. Self-doubt occurs where we're thinking, I can't do this, or I can't do that. And before, I would think like, damn, man, I'm just not good at riding bulls. Why am I even doing this dangerous, stupid sport? But then I would change those thoughts, and I just focused on what can I do to get better? And I just say, all right, Walter, just take what happened as a learning opportunity. Those times where I didn't get a qualified ride of making 8 seconds, look back and see what you learned and apply what you gained going forward. And this really helped to take the pressure off of the end result, to just be focused on the now of what's right in front of me. And it helped me to enjoy the process, to just have fun with it. I'll always remember there was a time, I think it was back in 2017, I was kind of making progress in the right direction. And then I started to go through a slump, possibly even recede. So I'd constantly be thinking, all right, I need a win. I need 8 seconds. And then I remember one time as I'm getting on a bull, my bull riding partner, Solly, he's the one that, helped me through all, just getting started, making me better. I just remember he hits me in the chest and he says, hey man, just have fun out there. And I didn't make 8 seconds, but that really impacted me because it reminded me why I started riding bulls. It was just for the fun of it. The preparation then just became more enjoyable, and it made me a better person. So understand, and whatever you're pursuing, remind yourself of why you do it. Remind yourself of the fun parts, the enjoyable parts. There's some parts that are going to be hard, that are going to be not what you're looking forward to, where you're dreading it. But you got to remind yourself why you do what you do. Why you have the job that you have, the career that you have, the business that you have, why the way you live your life. Remember why you do it. And what's really interesting is prior to me actually riding bulls, so prior to 2015, I was not in a good mental state. My professional career was in the dumps. I was losing confidence, and I gained a lot of weight. So I think in college I weighed about 148 pounds. And then after working a little bit more than a year in the agriculture setting, I basically got up to 168 pounds, 20 pounds I gained, maybe even a little bit more. But when I started to prepare to ride bulls, I remember I was really committed to it. And I later understood that I got to be at a light weight so I can move a lot quicker. And I ended up losing 36 pounds. I was down to about 130 at my low. But mostly I'm like at 134, 135. And when I lost all that weight, it felt so invigorating, and it reinforced the great things about myself, which are accountability and discipline, to be able to change my eating habits, getting back to exercising, and all that became a habit eventually. So now I still maintain those habits, even from the time in 2019 to 2023, when I left bull riding for a few years. I still continue to eat well, having well-balanced meals, proper portion control, still exercising. And I'll change that up from time to time, if it's running, pull-ups, riding my bike, playing soccer, I'll still aim to do something that kept me moving. And once I decided to get back into bull riding, it was merely with the intention of just having fun, of just improving myself, because the whole preparation really empowered me. It strengthened me, made me a better overall person. Things like my self-talk has significantly improved. So before, when I'd make a mistake, I'd be really hard on myself. I'd dwell on things and kind of just let things ruminate. But now I'm constantly evaluating what went wrong, even if it's uncomfortable, and I go out and figure out how can I be better from this. And that's the conditioning piece. The self-talk is so crucial, and this often gets overlooked because our eyes are focused on everything else. So we're not able to reflect only when we see ourselves right in the mirror. So if you're struggling in life and whatever it is that you're doing, or you just want to make incremental improvements, really focus on the whole aspect of mental strength and conditioning. Figure out what information is really going to empower you to take the necessary action to make changes for the better in your life. A great place to start is just through self-reflection, and a journal is going to help you be more aware of what you're thinking. And as you're starting off to write out whatever's on your mind, be honest with yourself. So if you're having negative thoughts, write it down. If you're having those unwanted emotions such as anger, resentment, sadness, whatever it is, write it out, be honest with yourself, and then read it back to yourself in the next day or next few days, because that's going to help you gain some distance and some clarity. What ends up happening is eventually, when you consistently do this, writing out your thoughts and reading it back to yourself, you become more solution-oriented, because maybe you might be even a little fed up with, oh, I came up short. Why are things not going my way? I'm never catching a break. It's that self-realization, that accountability. It needs to be the cornerstone of your life. And that's going to propel you to really set yourself up for a greater future. Then you can gradually work your way up into writing down actions you want to take, goals that you want to accomplish. And then as you're accomplishing these goals, they become your habits. Because a lot of my habits originally started off as goals. So when I really started to implement the technique of just focusing on the process, the goals were set on how many reps I was going to do on the aerobic ball. And at first, I just started off with doing 500 reps in a day. Then I moved up to 1,000. Then I got up to 2,000. And then over the course of a month or two, I realized, Walter, you can do more. And I would do a little bit more and a little bit more. So now I think I would do like 5,000 reps on the aerobic ball. And I'd really push my limits. And it just got me looking for ways to continue to get better. That, coupled with relaxing the mind to gain clarity, to refocus, to be more effective in how I operate, I'm here to tell you that this really does work. And it's going to make a long-lasting impact in your life. The only thing is that it takes time. It's not just a few weeks or a month or two, but you got to be really committed to it. So the longer you can do this, the more noticeable the changes will be for the better. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're interested in more topics like this, become a Thriving Minds member at www.thrivingminds.live. It's your personal development resource so you can build that right mindset so you can live to thrive. And this is exactly what it's for, to mentally strengthen and condition your mind so you can thrive. All right, until next time.